Okay, so get this. We're diving into AI, but not just like how to use the latest chatbot. It's like way bigger.
It really is. It's like AI is almost making its own playbook now.
So we're not just talking about AI that's like, smarter. It's AI that's actually,
It's about AI that can set its own goals and like actually make decisions even in these really complex fields. Like think medicine or high-level finance.
that used to be like pure science fiction.
It did. It really did. What's so fascinating to me is that like it's a totally different way of thinking about AI. It used to be all about processing information faster than we ever could, but
Yeah.
now it's like it's becoming this agent, something that can act on its own.
Okay, so hold on. We're not just talking about AI that crunches numbers faster here, right? This agentic AI, it's like AI that's making decisions.
Yeah, basically. And what's really interesting is it's not even just about the AI being super smart. It's more about the way it learns.
Okay, so how does that even work? Like, how do you teach a computer to make its own decisions? Is it just like super complicated algorithms or something?
It's actually kind of like how we learn. Think about it like teaching someone to play a game, not by like, spelling out every single rule, but letting them try things out, mess up a few times, and learn from what happens.
Oh, so like trial and error.
Exactly. It's called reinforcement learning, and it's one of the big reasons AI is making such huge leaps.
So it's kind of like AI is learning by doing just like we do, but obviously way faster and with like tons more information.
Exactly. And what's really wild is that this is impacting everything. I mean, look at healthcare, for example. We've already got AI helping doctors analyze patient data and stuff.
Right. And I feel like we hear about that all the time now. But with this whole agentic AI thing,
Hmm.
are we talking about AI that's like running the whole show, like making decisions about treatments or even...
It could even be doing surgery someday, potentially, with
Right.
way more precision than a human surgeon.
Okay, so now that's both exciting and a little scary at the same time.
For sure. I mean, we're talking about a potential revolution in how we do healthcare. And it's not just healthcare either. Take finance, for example.
Okay, yeah, because that's another area where people always say AI is changing things.
Absolutely. AI is already being used to make investment decisions, analyzing massive amounts of data to spot patterns that humans might miss, and at a speed we can't even comprehend.
So it's like AI is becoming the ultimate Wall Street whiz kid,
Yeah.
making all the right calls before anyone else even knows what's happening.
In a way, yeah. And the thing is, this isn't some distant future we're talking about. This is happening right now. AI is assessing risks, making predictions, and even giving personalized financial advice.
That is both impressive and kind of terrifying.
Right.
It feels like we're handing over control of the entire financial system to algorithms.
You can see why AI governance is such a hot topic right now.
Right, because we need some ground rules for all of this.
We do. We need to make sure that AI is developed responsibly and ethically. That's something we'll definitely be diving into more later.
Okay, so before we get to all of that, though, I need you to bring this home for me.
Yeah.
How is this going to affect, like, everyday people?
Imagine a smart home that doesn't just adjust your thermostat, but actually learns your habits and figures out ways to save you energy and money proactively. Or think about education personalized learning plans that adapt in real time to how a student is doing.
So it's not just about student efficiency anymore. It's about AI making decisions in every part of our lives.
And that's where things get really interesting, because now we're talking about questions of ethics, responsibility, and what it really means to make decisions in a world that's becoming more and more driven by algorithms.
It's almost like we're building the car while we're driving it, figuring out the rules of the road as we go. But okay, so we're talking about AI making big decisions. How do we make sure it's making the right decisions? You mentioned AI governance earlier. What does that actually look like?
So it's interesting because AI governance, it's not just like setting some rules and calling it a day. It's more about creating a system that can actually adapt and change as AI gets more advanced.
So are there like actual concrete steps being taken to make sure AI develops ethically?
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing a lot of new platforms being developed specifically for AI governance. Like think of them as toolkits for making sure AI is used responsibly.
So these platforms are like the rule books for the AI Wild West.
Kind of. They lay out the guidelines and the rules, and increasingly they're actually being built into the AI development process itself.
So it's like building ethics into the AI from the ground up instead of trying to rein it in later.
Exactly. And what's really cool is that there's this push to make these platforms decentralized and transparent.
Okay, so instead of just a few big companies or governments controlling everything, it's more about a shared responsibility.
Right. It's about making sure that no one group has too much power over how AI develops.
That makes sense, but how do you actually make that work in the real world?
Well, one idea that's gaining traction is using blockchain technology.
Like blockchain. like for cryptocurrency.
Yep, because blockchain is decentralized and really transparent, it's almost impossible to tamper with. So the idea is if you use it for AI governance, you can create a system that's way more trustworthy and accountable.
So it's like a global public record of AI development. That's pretty wild.
It is, and it plays into this bigger trend of focusing on ethical AI development.
So it's not just about what AI can do, but what it should do.
Exactly. We need to make sure that AI is used for good and that it doesn't perpetuate existing biases or create new ones.
So how are we making sure that happens?
A lot of these AI governance platforms are incorporating things like bias detection algorithms. These algorithms can actually scan data sets for potential unfairness and help developers fix them before the AI is even released.
So it's like giving AI a moral compass.
In a way. And this all ties into the whole debate around AI regulation. Governments all over the world are trying to figure out how to create laws that encourage innovation but also protect people.
It's like finding that sweet spot between letting AI flourish and making sure it doesn't go off the rails.
Exactly. And that's why this conversation is so important. Because it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the kind of future we want to create. And speaking of shaping the future, one of the most exciting things happening in AI right now is the rise of vertical AI.
Vertical AI? What's that?
So instead of trying to create one AI that can do everything, vertical AI is all about developing AI solutions for specific industries.
So it's like AI that's custom built for a particular job.
Exactly. And it makes sense, right? An AI that's been trained on data from the healthcare industry is going to be a lot better at diagnosing diseases than an AI that's been trained on, like, cat pictures.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So tell me more about this vertical AI. What are some of the ways it's being used?
Well, in healthcare, for example, imagine an AI that's been trained on millions of medical images, patient records, research papers, all of it. This AI wouldn't just be able to read a scan. It could actually understand the context, compare it to countless other cases, and potentially even spot things that a human doctor might miss.
Wow, that's incredible. It could be huge for early diagnosis.
Absolutely. And it's not just healthcare. In finance, vertical AI is being used to create incredibly sophisticated fraud detection systems. We're talking about AI that can analyze transactions in real-time learning and adapting as new fraud patterns emerge.
So it's like having an AI security guard that's always one step ahead of the criminals.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that adaptability, that's what makes vertical AI so powerful. It's not just about crunching numbers, it's about truly understanding a specific field and using that knowledge to solve real-world problems.
It sounds like vertical AI has the potential to revolutionize pretty much every industry out there.
It really does. And the crazy thing is we're only just getting started.
So we're talking about AI that's like hyper-specialized now. Does that mean the whole idea of a general AI that can do anything is like over?
Not really. It's more like think of general AI as the foundation, and vertical AI is what you build on top of that foundation.
Right.
You know, all the breakthroughs we're seeing in things like natural language processing, those are important for both.
So it all kind of feeds into itself.
Exactly. It all works together.
Man, this deep dive has really been something else. I mean, we started with AI barely being able to make a dinner reservation, and now we're talking about AI that could be giving out financial advice or even performing surgery. That's a lot.
It really is. But I think
Ugh.
the biggest takeaway here is that AI isn't some far-off thing anymore.
Mhm.
It's here. It's changing rapidly, and it's going to have a massive impact on all of us.
And I think the thing that's really hit home for me is that we're not just along for the ride here.
Yeah.
We actually get to shape how AI develops.
That's exactly right. It's about making choices about how we want to use this technology, what kind of future we want to create with it.
Well said. This has been an amazing conversation. We've covered so much ground from agentic AI and the whole idea of AI setting its own goals to the rise of vertical AI and how it's transforming entire industries.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts for our listeners before we wrap up?
You know, for me, the most incredible thing is just how fast all of this is happening. We really are on the edge of a technological revolution that could change the world just as much as the Industrial Revolution or the internet.
It's exciting and a little bit scary all at the same time. But the future of AI isn't set in stone. It's being written right now by the choices we make today. So to everyone listening, stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay curious. Because the future of AI is something we're all creating together.